Hey picture book writers, I'm Pam Calvert, author of many children's picture books, and welcome to another Picture Book University. Today's topic is 6 tips to get your picture book noticed out of that awful slush pile. Today's first tip is use rhythm. That's right, all of my picture books have rhythm in them, and most good picture books have some sort of rhythm. Not every picture book does, but most of the really good ones, or the ones that I like anyway, have rhythm. And that doesn't mean that your picture book has to rhyme. In fact, I would say that if you have a story with a story arc, you probably don't want it to rhyme, although we are going to be looking at one today that does rhyme, that has a really nice story arc, and it's just the subject matter kind of lends itself to rhyming. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let me give you a couple of examples. All right, with my favorite, Lily's Purple Plastic Purse. This has a ton of rhythm in it, and I just kind of went over to the very last part of it when she is all excited and happy after she's figured out what she needed to do after the climax. She says this, it says, Lily ran and skipped and hopped and flew all the way home. So you notice it has a rhythm to it. Ran and skipped and hopped and flew. Here's another one. I love this book. It's the Crafty Chloe series. It has Crafty Chloe in here, and she uses rhythm in this. When Chloe got home, she went straight to work, fussing and fixing, measuring and mixing. Okay, you hear that? Fussing and fixing and measuring and mixing, right? So this doesn't rhyme, but using internal rhymes like that really help snap your book up. Okay, the next tip to get your manuscript up to snuff is the use of a catchphrase. Yes, catchphrases are very good, and they help your manuscript to be more cohesive. Children love catchphrases. In fact, right before a catchphrase happens, they're ready for it, to say it within the story. Flash, the little fire engine, he has a catchphrase, and whenever he gets a fire, he always says, I'm on my way, I'll save the day. He says it every single time. So that gets the kids, or they know that he's getting ready, and he says, wee-o, honk, honk, I'm on my way, I'll save the day. And so they can say that. It is rhythm, and it's a catchphrase. You've got both there. Green Cronin's, this is an older book, but this one is so classic, and that people are still reading this to their kids, and it's still relevant today. Click, clack, moo, the cows that type. Everybody probably already knows the catchphrase. Click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo. All through the book. All right, the next tip to help your manuscript just really bounce out of the slush pile is the use of puns. That's right, puns go a long way in a book, and it just gives something extra to your manuscript, and it needs to be clever usually. I love this book, Land Shark. It is full of puns. If you could get this at your library so you can study it, because we're going to talk about it for your homework at the end. But in the beginning, it says, Bobby had a plan, a fishy plan, a wishful plan, a frightful, biteful, delightful, and he wants a shark for a pet. Okay, so biteful, it is a pun, it's a play on words. If you can do a play on words, you really should. Editors love puns. In Princess Peepers, the pun at the end of this book literally sold the book, and it's about a princess who wears glasses, and at the end she meets a prince and who also wears glasses, and it was love at first sight. So I'm using a play on words with the eyewear, seeing, and actually her name is a pun, Princess Peepers. Okay, this next tip is something is so easy to put in your manuscript. In fact, I did a critique the other day, and I added some of this. It's onomatopoeia. Put onomatopoeia in every manuscript. You should have some, because editors love to highlight these nice sound words. Princess Peepers book, this one, I have a really nice sound word, whoosh. And so it looks really great on the page. And Little Excavator, I love this book. It's so cute. And it is a rhyming book, and it's actually an author illustrator. She writes really, really well. That goes along with all her beautiful pictures. But here's, she does rhythm and rhyme here, and onomatopoeia. So it says, here comes the big rigs rolling down the street. Thumpa, thumpa, bumpa, bumpa, beep, beep, beep. Okay, hear that rhythm, hear the onomatopoeia. It's great. All right, if you can, on this next tip, you need to use circularity. We talked about this in one of my other episodes, and I'll put that up here. But it's called Circularity. And with Flash, it starts out with, here he is, I'm Flash, the little fire engine, ready for the day. And at the end, even though he goes to bed at the end because we kind of want to settle down, you cycle through the day kind of thing. He's sleeping here at the end of the book, but then it's circular because he's back ready for the day again. Circularity really helps make your story cohesive. When I come back to Land Shark starts off with, I love the beginning of this book, the way he had a plan, a fishy plan, a wishful plan, a frightful, biteful, delightful plan. And at the end, he has a fantastic plan, a Jurassic plan, a frightful, biteful, delightful plan. So he learns his lesson through the book, but then what do you think he's wanting next? The Jurassic plan should give you a hint. And yes, he's wanting a dinosaur. So that's so cute. It's great, and it's circular. It brings you right back to the very beginning. All right, this next tip is use the 5 senses. Now, we already talked about hearing sense, so we need to have touch sense, a taste sense. I try to put some sort of taste in every single one of my books. In Brianna Bright, this one, I had her on her skateboard, and look, there's a cake that she's about to bump into. Splat. Okay, so you can feel the gushiness of the cake. You can also kind of smell the frosting. Here we have some more onomatopoeia. She heard a click and a clack and a clickety clackety clack. Here I'm having taste again. She's at the dinner. So we're smelling the roast turkey. You can feel it's chilly. She's twirling around here, so we can feel the cold. So that's a feeling, a touch. This is fluffy, and she's making cupcakes. So again, with the taste and the sensory of feeling there. And I've got almost every sense accounted for in this book. All right, and this last tip that will really help your picture book stand out is use alliteration. I use alliteration a lot. Almost every book that I read has alliteration. It's because it's helpful with rhythm, and it just flows off the tongue really well. I like to use alliterative titles. You don't want to overuse alliteration, especially using alliterative names. I have it for Brianna Bright and Princess Peepers, Flash the Fire Engine, but I don't use all through the book. His friends, they aren't alliterative. You don't want to do that because that makes it trite and cliche, and you don't want to use something that might be cliche. In Brianna Bright, I use a lot of alliteration, if you can hear it. Brianna Bright's tiny heart longed to dance. Unfortunately, her feet didn't follow. When practicing, she pranced and piqued and pivoted right into the palace pool, ploink. So there's that sound word again, ploink. And I used a lot of P's there, didn't I? Because rhythm makes it snappy, and then also you're hearing, the alliteration. And then I went on with it she plied onto her pet poodle Pixie, and she frapped into the fountain, flipping onto a frog. Alliteration. It really will set your book apart when used with rhythm. And it's something that people like to read. Okay, it's homework time. So for your homework, I would love for you to check out 5 books. I want you to look through the books at the library, and if you can't go to the library, I understand that. If you can try to find Land Shark is a great one to study for this because it uses every single one of these things that I was talking to you about. If you can find Lily's purple plastic purse, that would be a good one for you to study. And think about some of your favorite books, and I want you to study them, and I want you to see how many of these tips that I've given you, and these are called style elements, how many of these style elements do the books have? And you might be surprised that they might have all of them. A really good good picture book uses all of these style elements to set them apart from other books. Next, go to your whip. Yes, yes, yes. Look at your whip, the one that you're working on the hardest, and see if you have some of these. If you do, good job. But what if you don't have any? Ooh. You gotta work on that. It's so easy to put in onomatopoeia and rhythm. Try to make your words in a rhythmic pattern somehow. Don't overdo it. I wouldn't put it into rhyme. In fact, I would tell you to take it out of rhyme, but we will do that on another workshop. We're not going to talk about taking your manuscript out of rhyme just yet, but don't put it into rhyme. Please don't. Rhyming is very hard to do, and if you don't know what you're doing, it'll be an insta. All right, so after you've done your homework and you've done your revision, if you want to, send me 2 of the before and 2 pages of the after to picturebookuniversity100@gmail.com, and maybe I will be featuring your edit on a Friday Dine and Wine. All right, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe, tell others about this channel, and I just thank you for your support. We'll see you on Friday.